Luke Littler, who is just 16 years old, is currently causing a stir at the World Championships. The naturalness with which the reigning youth world champion is now performing on the big stage is almost outrageous. Even the legend himself, Phil Taylor, has already said of him that the Nuke will become one of the best of all time. It's high time we took a closer look at his throw to find out what makes him so strong. There's definitely a detail here that you might not have noticed before. Enjoy this edition of Darts Decoded, Luke Littler's Throw. We are of course aware that you are not automatically successful at darts if you have a good throw. This also includes mental components such as self-confidence, stress resistance, and much more. There can be little doubt that Luke Littler has pretty much everything you need mentally to succeed on the big stages. But today we're only going to talk about his throwing technique. As always, let's first take a look at his stance on the oki. In order to shorten his distance to the board as much as possible, Littler uses the technique of aligning his right foot horizontally to the oki. We already know this technique from Michael Van Gerwen from our Decoded video of his throw. For balance, Littler places his left foot parallel to his right on the tips of his toes. Now let's take a look at how the Nuke holds his dart in his hand. As you can see here, the tip of his dart is resting on the fingernail of his ring finger. His middle finger is resting on the front part of the barrel. He grips the rear part of the barrel with his index finger and thumb. It can therefore be said that Littler ultimately grips the dart with just 3 fingers and moves it forward, as the ring finger is only used to stabilize and align the tip. Now we come to the most interesting part of his technique, the throwing motion. Let's start by saying that Littler has a very uncomplicated and rhythmic throwing technique. As you can see here, he stretches his arm out completely as he pulls up the dart and then pulls it directly in front of his face. And here comes the exciting detail of his throw mentioned in the intro. Just before his arm is so far up that the flight almost touches his nose, Littler turns his wrist slightly so that the flight passes his face on the right at cheek level. Shortly afterwards, he brings his arm relatively forcefully forward towards the board. Interesting, isn't it? It is always amazing that almost every player has their own unique quirk in their throw. But it is precisely this small movement that is an important anchor point for the Nuke, as it allows him to build up a better feeling of habit with every throw and makes it easier for him to always find the same height for the release. When he turns his hand in, he almost makes it look as if he is clenching his fist or pressing the dart into the palm of his hand. It is also interesting to see that Luke appears to have little tension in his wrist, as it looks as if his wrist flips back briefly when he moves his arm forward and then pulls it back, similar to a catapult. At the end of his throw, he flips his wrist at a 90-degree angle, as can also be seen in MVG's throw, for example. The fact that Littler is blessed with talent and touch is also shown by the fact that after the first dart lands in the triple 20, he likes to increase his throwing speed slightly, and throws darts 2 and 3 much faster, and even pulls his left foot forward with the throwing motion of the last dart. We already know this habit from Michael Smith, and it should be avoided by amateur players, as you should avoid any body movement. That was Darts Decoded Luke Littler's throw. We hope you enjoyed it. Did we miss anything that you might have noticed? Let us know in the comments. We would be very happy if you give the video a like, subscribe to our channel, and activate the bell. In return, you will regularly receive the finest darts content. Until then, take a look at our other videos. We have also decoded Luke Humphrey's throw and an exciting quiz about the World Championship. See you next time. Watch, learn, and win.